I only did a street walk yesterday afternoon, and it's now today, Saturday, so the 20th of June, almost halfway through the year. 8 a.m., so it's kind of an unusual time to do this, to go live. But I'll go and catch some early morning.
Morning.
Right. And you'll notice the avoidance of the face. Some kind of insane gesture that's supposed to mitigate the bubble of virus that I carry around with me. Morning. Alright. Morning, fella. Alright. Yeah, cool. Again, I'm not making this up, I'm just, now as you can see, the Glastonbury High Street is very quiet. It is 8 a.m, so I want to show you this shop actually. I want to show you this bakery down here. And the almost comedic methods of, maybe it's not this shop, it's a different one. This shop's got it just on the table laid out.
Perfect.
This sort of table laid out. You have to stand at the table and place your order there. And they will go into the shop, mask, etc. Breaks my heart to see how it's changed us. And I always ask people how they feel. I don't ask people how they feel, and I people to ask you how you feel watching this live. You know, how are your feelings? How do you feel things? Are there changes? Morning. Are there changes afoot? Energetic changes afoot. You know, I didn't expect this high street to be so empty. I suppose it is a Saturday morning. Things I can do later on Saturday. But anyway, I'll stand here and see if I can have some conversations. Yeah, energetic shifts, you know, energetic changes. I brought my glasses so I can read the comments. I won't be this for long this morning because Alexander needs me. Andrew needs my phone to run the hotspot. Run the tech in the van. You know, I don't know whether my intention is to become this more heart-centered, balanced, loving, caring, good morning, loving kind of person. It is a little difficult when people scowl at you to, but that's been my journey. I came down on a bicycle. A bit wobbly. That is part of my journey and part of my walk. Part of my walk. What does it say? NHS not something or other? I haven't, this is me by the way. This is everything love the life, live it. Come to free Devon and gather with one love. That's what it says. Yeah, I mean, my journey has been, let's put it this way, let's put it this way. I have lived my journey, every step of the way, and it's been, not cushy, not sitting on the cushion on the sofa and kind of watching it all unfold. It has been a ride that I've been on. Some of you guys have been along for quite a while. But I feel something different, I feel like there is, I guess why I stumble a little bit with this is because I come from such a 3D mindset, I am a 3D kind of guy, which is why I was able to work out some of the truths for myself. But there is of course this spiritual element to us. I look a little bit ropey this morning. We got washed off the tour last night. It was very rainy, and I hope my pal Joe and his crew didn't get too wet because they just put up little tents on the foot of the tour. And hopefully, I hope that official didn't interfere with them too much. But we decided to stay down in Blessing overnight, rather than park up there. And but yeah, back to the emotional stuff, the feeling stuff. I think we're meant to dial down all the left brain, all the conspiracy stuff, just at the time when obviously it's getting more and more fruity in the room because, well, the plethora of misinformation, events that attract the attention, the plethora of these is, well, like a spring meadow popping up all over the place. So, it's easy to get sucked back in and start researching or taking a view on and so on. Of course, in my conversations with people, I'm so easily drawn into it. Oh, analysis. So, but for all of us, they look like some kind of traffic warden. That or they had a official gun moving all over the world. And I don't think we're meant to fight official gun. If it goes away in some plasmatic, apocalyptic, revelatory type tsunami, then it does. But did I say this yesterday? I think most people are so inured, so dependent, so like animals in the farm, so dependent on the status quo that they will simply adjust to the reduced size of the pasture. That's what we'll probably think. And the system knows that it has. Laura, don't worry, I'm just filming me at the moment.
Can I come and say hello?
You can come and say hello. You haven't been to bed, I bet.
I have, I didn't know.
Oh, I mean, well, I went briefly, but...
Yeah, how was it?
It was wet.
Was it?
Yeah, wet. No, I was early. We went early about... Well, actually, we didn't see the sunset down there. That day we saw it up there. But it's going to be better today, isn't it? And we're here Saturday and Sunday. So I'm looking forward to seeing you doing some dances.
How was Totnes? Oh no, not Totnes. Where did you go?
Oh, we went so many
Devon.
places. Oh my lord, we've been so many places. Devon and Cornwall.
Yeah.
And we got moved on a number of occasions. But we ended up with a highlight in the this place called, there's an area called Hartwell in Devon,
Okay.
and the coast there is quite rugged, beautiful, sort of very steep crevices and valleys and so on.
Yeah.
And we found this National Trust car park in an area that's sort of set aside and not used for anything. There's a couple of farms on it, but
Yeah.
really there was no one around in this car park because it's so off the beaten track. We spent 4 nights there and did some awesome rock climbing at a place called Church Rock. Church Rock is just like this massive, massive peak, and it has 2 large sort of walk-through caves that you can get through at low tide.
Oh wow.
So Alexander and I, we
Nice
did that.
little Susie.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah, cool for you.
Yeah, he's cool.
He's easy.
He doesn't know what we're getting off the van in 2 nights' time.
Oh, yeah, does he
on
love
Monday.
it?
Yeah,
Is
well,
it
it's
your
his
van?
phone. No, it's my friend Jason's van.
Oh,
He's
right.
very, very kindly lent it to us for 3
Oh
months. But he's
wow. But you don't want to give it up, do you?
not, well, yes and no, because, we do need to keep moving on the journey wherever it takes us.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it has become Zizi's home. Because he spent a month on it in Europe last year on tour.
Okay.
So he was already familiar with it. He's loving the traveling and the seeing different things and getting him out for hours each morning or afternoon and exploring the forests, the rivers, the beaches, and so on. So it was a cool trip in that way. But we've got to keep moving, and I don't know where the journey is taking. I was just talking to my friends here on the YouTube about where's this leading us, because this is about whatever's going on in the world. No matter what your view is, whether this is just the government doing the right or the best thing or whatever, or it is some kind of pandemic, there is massive changes coming to humanity.
I know, yeah.
And there has to be something like divine, or, God level, creator level, nature level, whatever you want to call it. There must be some level of energetic shift occurring, and it's being exploited. So how are we placing ourselves, and where should we place ourselves? Because the crazy system the craziness of this shutdown and everything is not going away. It just seems to me to be becoming more in people's minds as a necessity.
It's true.
There's plenty of people that just turn the other way, go along with all of this, don't seem to have much to say about it. And we know that it's like, this is not right. Something's really off. Are we going to just live in it and just kind of, we'll just suck it up and go along? Or are we going to end up going somewhere else and creating something different?
Well, what I started doing was playing a lot of music down there. Actually, after that night.
Yeah, I won't put it on you.
Yeah, promise.
I just want the mic on you.
Okay. Oh, the mic. Okay, no, I was just going to say after that evening of the ceremony, the breath burning, something transformed in me. Like I woke up the next day and I just was like, I just want to play music. I just want to play. And I went up the tour. I played for ages, and then I went down there, and also it's a way that I can sort of be with like the people here, the alcoholics and be in my light, and actually it's what's saving my soul, because when I'm singing and when I'm doing mantra, I'm dancing, that's when I'm with spirit, so I'm happy. But it was amazing. Like that night was a massive transformation for me, Dave. Honestly, it was.
Jack said something, and he said it seemed like that for you.
Who said that?
Jack.
Oh yeah. I saw Jack. He said he felt different after it in the morning as well. So I think it was like.
It was
It was just. I have to remember. The thing is, I don't know everyone who was there. Like I know you. I know Jack. I know Mo. I know Alistair. And there was that little guy Harry and someone, and then there was the woman. But I can't. I'd like to remember who everyone was, because it was
I know
so
the
special.
lady. I forget her name right now.
Well, I see her quite a lot.
Yeah.
Julie.
That's
Julie.
it.
Her real name is shines like a diamond that shines brightly rainbow. That's what her birth name is.
Right.
She's a really special being.
Yeah.
She's like, if any woman I was going to be there with, she's just funny, She just brought a lot of comedy to it that night, so bless her.
So do you I'm interested, Laurie, do you just sort of live for the day? Do you put think into the future about
At the moment, yeah. I mean, I suppose I am quite living in the day and just seeing how the flow goes. Future, you know, I kind of where I'm at. I feel like I've come to sing and dance, and to be joy on this earth. And so at the moment, that feels like my focus because that's what feels good for me, and then that's something that I can also share with others. And I do believe that is the heart of the golden age is which is what this time is all about, is that we're here to sing and dance and be happy, you know, like, and that's it. It's like connecting through spirit, through joy, you know, it's like being, you know, it being in our hearts through joy, through dance, through song, you know, that's what it's all about. So for me, I really feel like that's my role. And whether that just be on the street, to be in Glastonbury or wherever, I don't know, but that's what I feel drawn to doing at this time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's lovely to see you doing the dancing because it's like the most released you can see a human almost. It's like pure like spiritual movement.
Yeah.
Or,
yeah, letting go. When I'm at the
yeah.
tour, I get taken over, you know, and it's so, for me, it's so good as well, you know, and I need it. I haven't been up there for a while, so I really need to shake off energy. But last night, I've been so tired. I just was like, I need to rest. So.
Well, this is the interesting thing is that we think that these transformational energies that are occurring in the earth at the moment is part of this moving to a higher age, a golden age, 5D, some people say. And if that be true, then it might be that what they've done with this virus pandemic is to create an excuse why some people will be feeling unwell, feeling unusually exhausted.
Yeah,
and
with
so
5G as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I don't, again, 5G for me could simply be one of those stories that we're also captivated by, but which distract us. Before you came, I was saying about there's just so many stories that distract us from living in the moment, you know. And when we should be like, we should trust nature, trust the creator to have us, to have our back. And if we're meant to sort of perish in some sort of 5G, you know, hotspot storm, then, you know, maybe that's what it's meant to be. But at the same time, most people, religious people, have given up their faith in God and gone, yeah, I'll wear a mask and I'll trust these scientists who tell me that my health is somehow going to affect somebody else's health.
I know.
So I'm losing my thread there.
We were talking about.
Well, so there might well be this energetic kind of
lethargic,
exchange
yeah.
happening at the moment, and we should feel that. We should allow for that, and we should take downtime, go on the bed, you know, whatever, you know, do things we're meant to do, but also not spend this time. This is what a lot of people might have done: is spend this time that they've had home, watching Netflix, watching YouTube videos on all the horror stories that are being wrought out on humankind and so on. Rather than going, okay, I see the beast, I see the dark, but I don't want to play in the dark. You know, just investigating the dark means you're in the dark room. You know, whether it's 5G or child, you know, trafficking or whatever. You're in the dark room, and I think you have to visit the dark room and go, you know what, I see you, but I'm not going to play with you.
No, I hear you.
Because, you know.
But we have to see, like, that's the thing, is we can't be blind to it.
We must know. I think the last thing, you know, blindness or spiritual blindness or just meditating it all away and saying, oh, I'm not going to look at, I'm going to say Zen and I'm going to, no, that doesn't, I think that doesn't really work. You have to, if you like, to go through it and go, you know what, I see you, but I know that the only way that I can make things better is by becoming the best that I am or being the most balanced that I am. Because these things are designed for us not to be able to alter them other than to be the light ourselves. To be the you know, so anyway, I just feel like there's this the energetic thing that's going on at the moment, and I feel like and so I was just cogitating as to whether or not it was me simply imagining all of this for myself and saying, yes, this is the story that I want to have play out, that all of this awfulness causes me to become the best man that I can be. Is it that? Or is it that there's genuinely a travel, like Dorothy on the Yellow Brick Road, or Harry Potter's journey through his kind of, you know, through his learning of the light and dark arts and so on, that, whoopsie.
Yeah.
You know, that actually, you know, we're meant to Yeah, back of the band.
Okay.
I
It's
can
probably
get you
good.
some.
I'm trying to.
Yeah, I've smoked some of that herbal blend before, and it's always disappointing, to be honest with you.
I know it is.
Yeah.
I just need a little bit of tobacco.
A friend of mine called Miss Chime, she says, love this woman, so contacted with spirit. Yo, you're connected, yes, absolutely, Miss Chime. She surely is, and I'm sure that you would enjoy spending an evening hanging out with Laura. You know, good for the spirit, and just to be around her, sing, play the guitar and dance and stuff like that. It's like reminds you of what we are truly at spirit. Mornings. Good morning.
All right.
Good. We're all good. How are you?
Yeah, fine.
Good. Good. Glad to hear it. Yeah, we're all lifted by Laura's presence, and you know, and this. I think there's something for us to learn. Yeah, sorry, Boynik, I've got thing. I saw you did a thing with Brian Staveley. Good for you, man. Brian's a rock, isn't he? Yeah, Jax, I'm in Glasgow. London's all right. It's starting to rain again. We had a hectic rain yesterday, and I'm hoping that today is going to... You can't hear too well? Sorry, guys.
No, I'm going to my friend's because it's her birthday, so happy birthday, but I'll be back.
All right. Well, I'll see you later. Yeah.
It's kirtan at 6 o'clock. Do you know kirtan? You know, like mantra music and stuff?
Yeah.
So the people from the ashram, usually on a Sunday, but they'll be up at 6. So there's a puja, so there's a fire ceremony, you know, like a Hindu style fire ceremony where you know, and then make offerings to the fire. And then after that, like at 7, there's kirtan, if the weather and police and whatever permits
All
them.
right, 6
So,
o'clock,
yeah, at
we
the
hope
top.
to be up early, so
Cool.
nice one, Laura.
See you later.
Cheers. Anyway, so there you have it. That's that. Thought it was Walminster for a while. Yeah, they do look a lot the same, these places. And of course, they have similar, not all exactly the same social distancing demands now. One place we went to had arrows on the pavement, on the sidewalk, as the Americans say, pointing up one side and down the other. People are being ferried. Okay, so after that. Morning. Hi. Yeah, this high street is a lot quieter than I expected. It's like part of my, so if you're listening, I'm sure this is not the most entertaining stream. Morning. It's not the most entertaining stream from me, but I'm feeling my way a bit, guys. Hello. I'm feeling my way a bit with this divinity thing. It's like I said yesterday's stream, it's easy to kind of rattle off numbers and points of correction for the globe theory, debunked globe theory. It's easy to do that, but when it comes to breaking into people's spiritual conversation, it's a lot more tricky. So I'm just feeling my way on this and see how it goes, you know? Maybe I should ask this shop whether they think it's things. Morning. Hi, I'm just live streaming. Can I ask you a question? I'm just interested to know how coronavirus has changed your life.
Everything's different.
Everything's different.
Yeah.
How do you feel wearing a mask? Does that bother you at all?
It's how life's going to be now, isn't it?
How life's going to be now?
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about the
Need for breakfast?
Oh, sorry. Do you want to order something?
Yes.
I'm in your way.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. This gentleman wants to order something. I guess I'd better give him some space. All right. I won't film you. I was going to ask them how Maybe this gentleman can help me. Have you ever?
Absolutely, I can't.
You can't help me?
Not unless like a granary.
People are so frightened now. They don't want to talk to each other.
That's right.
Okay? It's living in fear is exactly why.
No,
the system
not
is
at
working.
all. Just bored with people pointing cameras at me.
Do you get
Right?
that a lot? Are you a famous person? I was just going to ask these ladies if they thought it was interesting.
Well, when I've gone, you can ask them what you want. Okay?
Well, as you're talking to me, I'll
I'm
just
not.
ask you one. I'll just ask you one thing. Don't you think it's interesting that we used to try and ban the burqa, get people to say, "Oh, that's terrible that we're making women cover their faces," and now we're all doing it, man and woman. It's an incredible thing.
I can think of 3,000 more interesting things than that.
How our lives have been completely altered by this virus business, and yet we can't prove germ theory. Did you know that? We can't prove that there's a germ can be passed from one person to another. Well, let's see. There's not a lot of traction there. See, this is how it's made, people. You know, it's not all Laura and love and free spirits. It's nice to hang around free spirited people, but this is the kind of thing that you get. Morning.
Morning.
Let's see if there's any more time. Hey, Nicholas. I was at a flea market the other day, very interesting. So, yes, yeah. And, I'm, oh yeah, bueno, I saw you were in trouble. Was trouble for you got in trouble or some problem for doing chalk on the street? I didn't follow that story closely, but well done you for getting up and talking. I am, of the view that we I don't know whether we could do another Globe Live tour. Like if that's even, I mean, aside from all the constraints and so on, certain constraints, I don't know that we can catch people now. They're so lost there, those people anyway. And so it's like, are we not in a time of spiritual need?
I'll let Helen know.
No,
I know
she knows. She does know, but
She does know.
because she sent us a card.
Did she?
I can see them in distance. It's like a reaffirmation of all of the stuff that we're being covered with. Yeah, so morning, fellas. Yeah, I mean it's like else we want to talk about. It's odd, hey, isn't it? How the here in Glastonbury they did the first, I think, as far as I'm aware, anyway, the first anti-lockdown protest, and that was stomped on. Jason was here. We said Jack. We got him free. He was like bundled up, and trussed up, and carried by 5 guys upside down, belly facing the ground. Cut. For doing nothing other than saying, well, we're protesting against nature of lockdown. The next weekend, Jason met some other people in London and was arrested weekend after, or perhaps the weekend after that, perhaps only the weekend after that, we had the George Floyd event, and then people were allowed to start protesting. If that doesn't give you a rather strange feeling in the gut that you're being played, and perhaps you're still thinking too much of the spirits. So anyway, I want to continue talking to people. I want to continue. For me to do that, I have to be that. You know what I mean? It's like I can't be just like, say, like when I was doing my early activism. It was easy for my anger to show. I got a rather stern stare from that lady. Because I was so conflicted and so angry and so certain that the passion would take away from everything. I don't know if that's the time for that is now. Why? I don't know if the time for that is now. Because maybe we are at the time of big change. All we can be is instead of ourselves. Can I ask you a quick question about it? The coronavirus? The pandemic that's going on?
Yes.
I wonder, what's your experience of it? I'm going around the country asking people how it's affected them, how many people died, that kind of thing.
In all honesty, I've been in a little bubble.
Uh-huh.
I've got a 3-year-old, and so we've just been at a friend's. They were away, and I popped to the supermarket every now and again.
Yeah.
I've kept away from the news.
Right.
I've got family that are in that kind of fear place, you know, and they're just kind of
altering
struggling a
their
bit.
lives.
It's obviously affected everyone.
Yeah. Do you intend to
been
send your son to school?
Yes.
No.
Not sure yet.
Yeah.
No. Not at the
We
moment.
when we had our 3-year-old son, we intended not to send him to school, but I
Yeah.
guess this reinforces that, because some of the strangeness that the children are having to endure and how that will affect them as adults. You know, talk about OCD and worried about how germs and all these sort of
Yeah,
things and
yeah.
our friends are
Yeah.
actually our enemies because they might bring us to death.
Yes.
Is so psychologically
Yes,
psychologically scarring that I wouldn't want to put any person through that.
No, and I think this is the interesting thing, isn't it? I think a lot of people are realising that the systems are, they've been put in place in the media and the news, and they just create a lot of fear. And that's fine. It's not fine, but people are having to experience this and go through it. But for me, I'm very much just at a point where I'm kind of having to step back and reevaluate everything, and knowing that. As a 3-year-old, he's so influenced by his emotional environment, and he doesn't know anything about the coronavirus. I haven't sort of said anything, so we're just in our little happy bubble.
So he doesn't come out into the shopping area and see people in masks?
He does. Do you know what? He doesn't really ask. I think he's just like...
At that age they take it for...
Yes.
That's what people do now.
Yeah.
But I remember the first time my son saw a guy in a mask. It was a black mask, a bit Darth Vader-ish, really,
right.
and he was startled by it, taken aback by it. And I have given him some form of explanation as to why people are thinking that the air might be making them sick or something, right? But this isn't true.
I know it exists. Like, I know that. I believe I listen to Zach Bush. Have you heard some of any of his stuff?
No.
Well, he basically talks about the coronavirus and that it looks like it's systematic. Like a respiratory issue, because people are struggling to breathe and they're needing to be put on ventilators, but ventilators obviously don't work. And what he's saying is the SARS, all of the viruses are there. They basically they carry genetic information, but it's to do with the red blood cells, and it's some sort of poisoning, and it's like a sort of poison, like in the air.
Okay.
It's like pollution,
Right.
air pollution, and it's all to do with you know, Mother Earth and the fact that we've been, you know, just
Well, some say there's like an energetic shift happening
Yes.
in the world to the Earth.
yeah,
Because I think it's all an electromagnetic system.
Yes.
And as the frequency is being altered, then perhaps some people are struggling and
Experiencing
having health
systems,
difficulties,
yes.
breathing difficulties as
Yeah.
a consequence of that. And
It's,
that's
well, it's
one of-
affecting the red blood cells. So what he says is like the hemoglobin basically carries the oxygen through the blood system, through the body,
Yeah.
and what's happening is the hemoglobin is distorted somehow, and so it can't carry the oxygen around the body, which is why people are having these respiratory issues.
Right.
However, the reason the ventilators aren't working because you can't pump a body with enough oxygen if the life raft is like can't carry it, sort of
Right.
thing, which is
Right.
why it's pretty
Oh,
much
right. So because it's the body's inability to
to
absorb
actually
the
carry
oxygen
absorb
rather
the
than
oxygen.
rather
yeah.
than because everybody's breathing the same air.
Yes.
It's just that some people's functions is
Yeah,
perhaps
and it
off.
might be because of
Yeah.
suppressed immune systems or
Yeah.
other sort of issues, but it's an issue with the blood. That's what he says, and
Yeah.
I'm not kind of disregarding. You know, it's obviously there is a coronavirus, there are viruses, but I think it's potentially not what we think it is.
Yeah.
I've always felt like that. So I'm just trying to step back and, as an individual, I think, you know, just make the changes on a personal level to do with, you know, how I interact with nature and, you know, what I eat and how I sort of recycle and all of these sorts of things. I think it's all part of the process.
Right.
Yeah.
So what if this energetic shift that's happening is something far more spiritual than the 3Ds? You know, this sort of 3D material existence that we cling to, that we make all these changes, that we blame ourselves for the global catastrophes and so on, is really just like a construct that you and I have. Really, we're players in it, but we were born into it, and it plays out these wars and these sorts of famines and hardships, and you're overpopulating, all these sorts of storylines that they bring us through the news, that we then take on as our pet project or something we rail against or whatever. And it seems to me, having spent a few years looking into a bunch of these, is that they're designed to distract you from something much more important that's
Yes,
going on.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That's how I feel. Like that actually we are divine. We are like a divine essence of the mother, of God, of Creator, of Allah, whatever names you attach to everything that is. And we are meant to be divine emissaries of that, rather than being caught up in the soap opera.
Exactly.
Of life, you know,
Yeah.
whether it's that you're sitting in front of the TV literally watching soap operas, or whether you're standing in front of Parliament demanding that they give you, you know, the prison manager gives you better conditions. And I think that all of these are designed to say, oh, there's something more important than you. And I'm not a biblical man, but I like to quote things from the Bible where it says in the Bible, Jesus says, don't take no idols, you know, don't be idolatrous, because really you are, in essence, you are the top of the pyramid. You are the most important thing here.
Yes.
Your universe, your life, your thing is the most important. Along the road, like Dorothy on the Yellow Brick Road, along the way, there are lots of things that will try and compete for your attention and hold you.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I think our journey is to test all of these little tents of interest and then decide, no, my journey is more important than staying here and eating all the types of cheeses or whatever the thing is that you like doing.
Yes.
You know?
And you can, you know, on a 3D level, I think you can have, you know, a pleasant experience. There's so much that you can sort of take from this experience. You know, you can go out and you can enjoy it, and
You're meant to.
you know, you are
Sure.
walk the middle way.
Yeah.
We're here for a reason. But certainly, yes, I think like I've always felt that all the way through school and the way that I've been educated, all my peers, all the people that would tell me that this was how it works, I just never really kind of, I was like, no. So I've always felt that when you go within, all the answers are in there, you know, but people find all these different distractions, and, you know, the distractions are nice, but ultimately that you're just going to keep getting distracted all the way through your journey. And actually, if you just stop find some silence
Yeah.
in that, you know, you'll find your true essence as a
Yeah.
human being, and you'll find like a soul path that you'll be shown the way.
Yeah, that
So-
is almost like your divine purpose.
Yeah.
It's almost like when you, before you came, before your mother gave birth to you, you gave a contract to your higher self to go, I'm going to come into this world. I'm going to endure the trials and tribulations and tests that it offers me, or even the luxuries and the foible, you know, or the gifts and so on, the guilt, which can also distract me and also keep me busy. Or my contract with myself is to then walk my way through that to return to my higher self
Yes.
in this lifetime, in this journey. I feel that that's our path. And if anything, this current storyline that's being played out
very
is
interesting
just like
time.
for me, like an impetus to say, stop focusing on all the stories, because they, you know, a lot of them seem to be like made up or fake news.
Conflicting.
Or, you
There's
know,
so much conflict.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's designed to have a left-right paradigm. Oh, the government are doing too, you know, they're not doing
Yes,
enough, or
absolutely.
they're doing too much, or you're going to be a threat to me, or all these things that aren't real. Because they're not in my world anyway.
No,
you know, they're
no,
just
exactly.
stories that are being fed to me.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, I need to stop with all of the focus on all of these stories, you know, because the ego wants to be so clever and go, I can see what you're doing there, I can see what you're doing. Where rather than, okay, let me leave all of that behind and find this more peaceful place. Now that
And it's more objective, you know. That is a if you come from a place of observation, where, you know, the ego mind is obviously you're attached to something, you know, you're attached to it emotionally, or you know, there might be some past trauma or something. You're looking into all these scenarios, and they're pulling on your sort of emotions, and so again, I think I do think it's kind of distracting. But it's definitely there's definitely a war of light and dark going on at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's nature playing out. You know, winter, summer, cold, hot, and positive and negative.
The
and
duality,
the
basically.
duality.
Yeah, we're here to transcend the duality,
Yeah.
which is a 3D, third dimensional experience. You know, if you kind of, through meditation, through prayer, through all of these things, you can sort of get into that higher state of consciousness, which is the 5D, you know, and that's a place of where you're completely in your heart space, and you're in your higher chakras, and you know, you're working in harmony with the
Can I, what's your name?
Georgia.
Georgia, I'm Dave.
Dave.
Can I offer you just another kind of thought? Because Glastonbury is obviously a place where a lot of people think about the higher chakras and do, you know, meditation and that kind of stuff is very popular. And it's absolutely right that we do all of this stuff. And I find when I've stretched and meditated and so on, I'm so much more balanced. And that's really what I wanted to offer you, was that I think that we have, like the yin-yang symbol has got the dark and the light,
Yes.
it also has that line in
Yes,
between that
absolutely.
separates the
This-
dark and the
yes.
light, and that's the balance point.
The singularity,
Yeah,
the point of
and
singularity.
the singularity, or in science they say that's where we all come from, this originating point, the
Yes.
Big Bang. I don't believe in the Big Bang, but the Big Bang and all that comes from a singularity. And I think that singularity is the heart.
Yes, it is,
It is the earth, which is an anagram for heart. It is the green, which is what earth is, a green place. I know they call it the green planet, but it's actually where we live is green. And our heart chakra is green, as you know. And I think that that's what I'm trying to, because I come from the warrior side. I come from the dark side, you know, the red energies, the lower chakras. That's where I came from. As a kid, I was made to be a soldier even by law in my country. And I went to war as a consequence of that.
Wow.
And so I come from that, let's go and fight it kind of thing, you know. And then, of course, the more feminine energy is bringing more of that, to me anyway, is starting to bring more of that kind of balance of the higher chakras. And I know the purple is the crown and the coronavirus is the crown, so I think they're trying to play with our crown and our connection to
Divine.
source, you know, and all. But I think our journey here is to kind of
Be in the
balance
heart.
and be in the
Definitely.
heart. And if we're all, just imagine, we were all balanced and in the heart, then there would be no global warmings or, you know, ruining the planet and so on, because we would all be living in a much more balanced way with nature. So we wouldn't be creating a lot of the pollutants and the toxins and so on that are in our environment, that are killing not only the natural world out there, and the plants and animals, but it's also killing the humankind. You know, my
Yes.
biggest thing is that, you know, we've got all these little campaign groups, I shouldn't say little, but we've got these campaign groups that are all sort of fighting for these things, but very few of the people realize that we're all in some kind of mental or physical, but prison.
Mind control.
And mind control.
Yeah.
And the biggest harm to nature out there is the harm that's being done to humanity in here. Because when humanity in here is well, then out there will be well.
Absolutely,
It's like allopathic medicine. What they do is they treat the rash. They don't go inside and
No,
treat what's
exactly.
going on to cause the
Exactly,
rash. And
exactly.
what's causing the rash of problems in humanity is because none of us are healing, not none of us, but people are not healing within and going to that center.
Yes, yeah,
And finding that.
absolutely.
And I think that's what, for me anyway, this year, 2020, of vision and so on, despite all the strangeness that's going on, this is maybe what we're meant to be,
Absolutely.
is reaching this
It's-
balance, love, projecting. That's why I've come to the solstice, to Glastonbury, because I want to go up on the tour and try and project love into the
that's
world and
amazing.
be that, you know, because
Yes.
that's, the more people are being that light, then I think the
Yes.
more
Yes.
others will have some
There's a
way.
tipping point.
Yeah.
You know, there has been a tipping point. I feel that this year you can see, you know, it's just been such an interesting experience. The whole world on a global level have been subjected to, you know, kind of like loss of freedom, you know, you know, just being able to sort of move around. Everyone's having to be, you know, in this sort of lockdown scenario. So a lot of people are kind of just in this sort of place where actually there's no familiarity. So the jobs, you know, the kind of those social situations, all of the distractions, they're not there anymore. And people are suffering because they're having to go through this sort of, it's like, you know, a kind of a death of the ego in a way, because that's what you need. It's like, you know, all of these things are sort of crumbling and people are having to sit with themselves, and it's not a comfortable experience because then you start actually going, well, you know, maybe that wasn't so good, and you know, am I working for the highest good of myself and for others? And the answer is more than likely no, you know. So, and I don't remember who it was, but it resonated with me that, you know, the world it's a crisis of consciousness. You know, there are not enough people that are, you know, just in this sort of higher levels of consciousness and
Because
awareness.
the world has done
self.
such a good job, and you can pin it on the Jesuits, the Freemasons, you know, whatever, you know, the Bilderbergs and the Rockefellers or the Rothschilds. You can pin it on any of these things, but the world has been seduced. You know, the average soul has been seduced into stopping along the yellow brick road and not continuing. And I, you know, I look to religion as being one of those seducers. I look to science as being one of those seducers, and of course entertainment is, and all these sorts of things, materialism, have become incredibly powerful in the world today. So I think that some people will take my ego is uncomfortable with this, and I'm going to review that, and I'm grateful perhaps for Corona and for all these other things that are going on, because it'll hopefully jolt people out of their slumber. But I think also, on the other hand, a lot of people are simply going, yeah, okay, I can shoehorn my ego around this kind of thing. I'm not really going to face the fact that I've been under sort of house arrest, and I'm not really my own master. You know, despite being a very wealthy, successful businessman, I had to shut my business. I had to go and stay at home, and I had to set my workers, who I lord over, I had to set them home because someone else told me I had to go. My higher master told me I had to. And so people are going to actually just go back to business, and now I'm still your boss, and I'm telling you now you have to wear a mask. Why are you telling us that? Because my boss told me I have to, and I've just gone along with that. So I think we're going to have the dark light. We're still going to have.
It's still going to be there, but I think there has been a tipping point, and I think actually the scales have tipped. We're now in the age of Aquarius. It's probably going to take about 3 or 4 years, but I feel that we're there. You know, it's like it's gone the other way, and now a lot of people are just starting to wake up to the level of corruption and the lies and, you know, and everything. It's all.
Well, Georgia, that makes my heart sing to hear you say that, because that's really what I'm hoping for. Is that because I love humanity, I care very much about humanity. Good morning. You know, for me, that's why I do what I do. Going out on the street is not just because I want to see humanity do my little bit to try and help humanity raise its game and get to Eden, get to the you know, a beautiful balance again, a golden age. And perhaps this golden age is going to be in our lifetimes, or perhaps we're raising children who will carry the torch into the golden age. I don't know, but I'm wanting to do my little bit.
Well, it's
so
accelerating very quickly, isn't it? I feel that, yeah, you know, who would have thought we'd have experienced what we've just experienced, you know, in our lifetime? And actually, yeah, when you do enough digging, there's some very interesting stuff out there.
There's some fantastic stuff,
Some
Georgia,
very
but,
interesting.
but so important that we realize that we are divine, and we have like a divine spark that should be allowed to shine, you know? And we
Yeah.
shouldn't poison ourselves. We should be avoiding any of the mind poison, the body poison as much as possible. But even if you have been poisoned, I think that we can always, pretty much always, return to source, return to that
Definitely,
balanced place
definitely.
if you know this stuff.
Yes.
I won't take
Well,
any more of your
amazing.
time. But,
Amazing what you're doing.
thank you. Thank you very much.
Where have you come from today?
Well, I parked in a camper van just behind the cathedral
Nice.
overnight. Actually, I was going to be up on tour last night, but the rain was a bit hectic. So
It was a bit hectic. There's
Yeah.
there's some people that have. I think they've gone now, but probably there's been some big parties up there last night. So,
Right.
but I think all of that energy is sort of gradually filtering away now.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Have you been up yet?
well, I was here for a week, about a fortnight ago.
Oh,
So I've
wow.
been up quite a bunch of times. My
Yeah.
3-year-old boy yesterday made it up for the first time without being carried.
Oh, wow.
You know, so he's been practicing that. But we'll be up this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, just to maybe just, as I said, try and be in the love, you know, and
Yes.
take my
Spread
journey,
that
because I come
message
from
for
like
sure.
I worked in the government, you know. As I said, I was in the army even, so you know, I come from that. Oh well, the very 3D material, left brain, subjugated warrior, divine warrior kind of soul. You know, I come from that, and so I'm trying to unlearn that and discover myself or remember myself
Yes.
completely.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
And this is part of my journey. We've been on the road, my wife and I, and my baby, for 9 months.
Oh my God, that's
you know.
I've just moved into a caravan actually.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
the
just
weather's
like, I'm
better
not
now.
going to, yeah, I don't want to, I feel the need that, and actually I work with angels as well. So I've been guided very much to just go and be, you know, and not have any ties and find a way to like,
Wow.
just flow a bit, you know, just listen. And my little boy, he's just, you know, he's having an adventure. So it's really good.
Oh, fantastic.
What's your boy's name?
Alexander, we call him Zizi. And what's
Zizi
your boy?
River.
River.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
My
But they're
Alexander
lovely
loves
age.
playing in the river, and so
Oh.
we spend a lot of time when we can.
And are you travelling all around the UK?
Yeah, we've yeah. I mean, last year, friends and I, well, it was organised by other people. I just went along on part of a European tour, going
Wow.
around talking to people. But it's much
okay.
easier in your first language to try and
Yes,
communicate some of these
yes.
important messages.
So you've been doing
Yeah.
this for quite some time.
Yeah, for a while now. I've been doing this street talking stuff and activism for a couple of years.
Have you?
I was in London mostly, and so I
Oh,
used to go to
wow.
Speaker's Corner quite often and
Okay.
try and
Cool.
shout to people. But there I was trying to say, listen, you're being lied to, you're being lied to.
Yeah,
And
it's
now
not the right
like,
message, is it?
Yeah,
in
it's
a
like,
way.
no.
Yeah,
that's
people
exactly what my
people
wife-
really. This is what I've sort of found. It's really interesting because you're working with different energies, but it's been very much like share your voice and share the truth. And
Yeah,
so I've kind of stood up and actually started sharing, you know, what I feel from someone that's coming from a place of pure observation with no kind of like attachments.
Yeah.
You know, no religious,
outcome and-
no attachment to the outcome, no kind of, you know, and I'm not swayed by any political or religious agenda. I'm just from a place of pure observation and also looking at from a global level, you know, and it's like, I see it. You can see it, you know, very, very clearly.
Yeah.
And so, but then when you try and share, you know, you get a lot of kickback, and you can see, you know, the responses, the reactions are very emotional, and they're coming from a place of fear somewhere. So it's kind of being mindful to where people are on their journey as well.
Yes.
You know, there's only so much. People will only listen when they're ready, you know, to
Yeah,
hear.
you're right. And I think there's been a lot of opportunities like this current one for people to hear that something is amiss. So perhaps your journey, a bit like how I feel mine will be, is that more in the future it'll be more like people have come through that. They said, oh yeah, I realized that I was being duped. I am now looking for a different set of information or ideas that I can attach to that resonate better
Yes,
with me
yes,
in
yes,
that
exactly.
knowledge.
Yeah.
And hopefully that's where I'm able to be of service to others, is that they can come and say, okay, I don't need you to convince me that I was lied to about 9/11 or I was lied to about the coronavirus or whatever. I already know that this is a trick and it's designed to, as I said to you earlier on, rip me out of being in a centered, loving, balanced harmony.
Yes, yeah.
Because enough people get into that balanced harmony place, then perhaps it's like a 100th monkey effect.
Yeah.
You know, it has a much more powerful
Absolutely.
effect on the earth
Yeah.
and everything. So, as I said earlier, if
And
we
you have to
heal
lead by
ourselves-
example. You have to lead
Yes.
by example. You've got to walk your truth, you know, and you know, and that's a hard thing to do quite often because you're kind of like, you know, you're trying to shed, you know, a lifetime of conditioning, you know, and you know, we've all been indoctrinated into some way, into some sort of cultural narrative and social narrative, and you have to kind of be unafraid, you know, you have to kind of leap and sort of and trust your own what your own sort of truth is.
Yeah.
And when you walk, you'll find that other people will you know, you inspire others to do the same.
And perhaps even the creator or the higher being that is around us and supports us will help that, will enable, will
They
create
do.
synchronicities
Yeah.
that enable, and that's what I've been feeling
They
this
do,
last few years.
definitely. When you leave the universe, you know, the universe
Yeah.
catches you, or
Yeah.
whatever you want to,
Yeah,
whatever
how
you want to call it.
characterize everything. Yeah.
It's really cool. Have you got a website or something?
I'm on YouTube. My name is
Okay.
Trinity4. on
Trinity
YouTube,
4. Trinity 4.
I
Okay.
don't have a website yet, but hopefully I will get that this year or whatever as I continue to kind of grow this
Amazing.
story.
Yeah,
But
it's
it's
really
been
cool.
nice talking. Really
Yeah,
nice
and
talking to
you,
Georgia.
and you, and
And I wish you well with the boy and your
I would hug, but if
I'd hug. Oh,
Go on then.
absolutely. Oh, I've got no social distancing issues whatsoever.
Really,
Really,
yeah.
really. No,
it's
we're
good
healthy.
to do, and this is
We're-
the thing, you know. This
Our
is the,
energies need to be
yes, exactly.
coming together.
Need to
Heart
embrace-
energies and so on need to be shared. And this is part of why I think they're making people sick, is because we're being, energetically separated.
Absolutely.
We're all electric, and we should be
Yes.
harmonizing together,
Yes,
and not,
absolutely.
it's a fear vibration, it's a lower vibration,
Yes,
and I come into
absolutely.
that, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's really,
So
it's
the
quite
more the
something.
merrier.
It's been a very, I think the coronavirus for me on a personal level has created this sort of, I can really see a great divide. People living in fear and people living in love, you know.
Yeah.
It's
And
quite interesting.
It's kind of like a sad, for me it was,
Sad.
sad, and I even cried at one point about, oh my Lord, this is just, and seeing children
Yeah.
going to the beach in masks and so on, my heart is breaking.
I
for
know,
that.
yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, okay, this is part of what's meant to happen. In order to get some through, you need to leave some behind.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's unfortunately just the way it is.
Yeah, it is.
I hope I see you again, perhaps
Yes,
on the
maybe.
tour this weekend.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
if not, it's a fantastic life.
Yeah, and
really
you.
enjoy it.
Many blessings.
I like that. Trinity 4. Go on YouTube. Yeah. Oh, thank you. I hope that was. I hope that was. Yeah, she was fit. Or is fit. Yeah. It was more her soul and so on that I was attracted to there. It was a great conversation. Sorry, I'm playing with the camera. I didn't mean to. How does that come up? Oh, guys, I can't really see this. Hey, that was a great conversation, don't you think, with Georgia? And she's lovely. Yeah. She has a beautiful spirit. Oh, like a YouTube channel. She has one. I don't think she has one, actually. Yeah, she's obviously thinks globally. I wasn't going to. No, Jeffrey. I wasn't going to bring her that actually. You know, it wasn't. It's not. You see, this is the interesting thing: is that I don't know that it's necessary at this point. You know, when people know that they've been lied to. When people know that there's something. I don't know. It's like, I guess you have to judge it each call, you know. But it didn't seem. It was more useful. It it was more useful to have a conversation about spirituality than to do that, shatter her ball or get into cognitive dissonance. Because this is what I'm talking about, is that conversations that go into, you've been lied to about everything. And there's a crow's head just there. Check that out. You don't see that very every day. That's unfortunate for the crow. I have to think a fox got hold of that. Anyway, getting into the arguing with people over stuff that they hold firmly believe in is like perhaps one of the clever tricks of the system is it's taken people with a certain intelligence who can see certain things and use them to kind of create that kind of that obviously it's a lie, obviously, but then everything is a freaking lie, man. We're not even just these men, these human flesh bodies. We are something far, 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 far more wonderful, far more incredible, and where's the conversation about that? I mean, screw what the shape of the earth is. What are you? Who are we? What is it that we're carrying? What is our divine spark? What is our relationship to the immediacy of our relationship to the Creator? I'm just plugging in a battery so the phone doesn't die. What is our connection to the Most High? That, whatever you like. Unimportant. Idolatry is a mistake. I think that. But, what is our connection to everything and all that is, and our power in it, our creative power, our magnificence? Sorry, could I walk around and because it didn't close to me. See, I don't want to come down from that conversation with Georgia. It was really heartwarming to talk with someone who, for example, doesn't know about flat Earth or doesn't necessarily can't see flat Earth or whatever, but they know they are divine. I think that it's important, but maybe not. But I think it's important that people know all of the truths, look in all of the dark rooms, maybe not in the level of detail that has you sort of living in certain things, but really it helps, I think, to know that the entirety of your reality is an illusion. It's all an illusion, designed to test you, challenge you. And maybe this is what Freemasonry and the secret societies kind of hide. Not that I'm supporting it. Maybe in the Dark Age, that's what we've come from, the Dark Ages. We're emerging into a light age. If that's the truth, then naturally you're going to be deceived in that time. I was thinking this morning, how do you take all these deceived people and switch a key and say, no, you're divine, you're the divine spark. We lied about religion, we lied about science, we lied about history, we lied about this, we lied about... As you can see, even, the people who were told that, in February in the UK that coronavirus is a deadly killer that you can spread, and then on the 3rd of March the UK government said, no, it's not. But people already had that in their minds, And for some of these people, even if God comes down to greet them and say, oh, by the way, you are my spark, they'll go, no, I'm a monkey, I evolved from a thing. Oh, look who's coming! Who's dead, my baby boy? Hello. Hello, Zizi. Oh, Daddy making a little film for YouTube and my friend. Hi, Mommy.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. Yes.
Hi.
Andrea.
Hi.
I got him.
And
In the shop, in the vegetables in the shop.
you're gonna get some vegetables in the shop. Oh, that's fantastic. Can I come with you?
Okay, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
All right. Let's go. Woohoo! Yeah.
Go.
Let's go. Oh, what are we waiting for? Yay! Oh, there's a bonus for you guys.
Let's go that way.
That's a lovely way to end off. Yeah, he's doing well, as you can tell. He's yeah. Let's go. All right. As I told people that you managed to walk up the tour all by yourself last night. We'll go that way. Yeah, let's go.
Let's go that way in the.
Let's go that way.
Let's go that way in the shop.
Yeah, let's go that way. I'm just gonna get ahead of the.
Let's go in the
I want
shop
to see
that
it.
way.
Yeah, okay, guys. Thank you so much.
Let's shop in the back.
From Zizi and I.
Let's shop in